All right, so when a company like Carvana reports earnings, yeah, the prepared speeches are fine, but the real story, that almost always comes out in the Q&A with the financial analysts. That's where the tough questions get asked. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into today, the most revealing moments from that session. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. We've pulled out the four big themes from the Q&A. First, we'll check under the hood at their financial engine. Then, we'll see how they're building a better operational machine. After that, we get to the really futuristic part, their sci-fi tech advantage. And finally, we'll look at their massive long-term goal, the path to 3 million cars. First things first, the money. Before you can talk about cool tech or massive growth, you've got to prove the business is actually on solid ground. So it's no surprise analysts went right for the jugular, asking about the health of Carvana's loans.
This was the big question right out of the gate. With all the chatter about the economy potentially slowing down, everyone wanted to know, is Carvana's loan portfolio a solid foundation for growth, or is it a potential house of cards?
Well, Carvana's management was pretty direct. They said their most recent loans from this year and last are performing extremely well, and that's because they tightened up their credit standards. But look, talk is cheap, right? The real proof is that their big money partners are doubling down. Ally Financial actually upsized their commitment from $4 billion to a whopping $6 billion. And on top of that, two other major partners locked in agreements for $4 billion each. That's a huge vote of confidence.
And here's where it gets really interesting. What did they do with that financial strength? They announced record profits from their financing business. But instead of just pocketing it, they're actually planning to pass those profits on to customers by offering lower interest rates. It's a classic strategic move, using your strength to grab even more of the market. Okay, so the financial engine is purring. The logical next question from analysts was, what about the machine itself? How is Carvana actually getting better and faster at the core of what they do, delivering cars to people? And the answer, it turns out, starts in one specific city. Carvana is using Phoenix as a kind of real-world laboratory to completely redesign how they do delivery with one thing in mind: speed. And the results from this Phoenix experiment are pretty staggering. In that market, a full 40% of customers are now getting their cars either the same day or the next day. Now compare that to the 10% they do nationwide. That's a fourfold increase. It's clear proof that this new model isn't just a theory, it actually works. CEO Ernie Garcia really hammered this point home. He said this isn't just a minor improvement. The whole goal is to create an experience that is, and this is his quote, extremely difficult to replicate. He's talking about fundamentally changing what people expect when they buy a car. But moving cars around faster is only one piece of the puzzle. When the analysts kept pushing, trying to find out what Carvana's real long-term advantage is, the conversation took a very interesting turn. It went from logistics to artificial intelligence. Now, to prove this wasn't just some corporate buzzword, Garcia told this wild story about something they call an ambient agent. So get this, an automated system detects a bug on their website. No human is involved. Then this AI agent investigates the bug, figures out what caused it, and then it literally writes the code to fix the problem. All it does then is send that code to a human engineer whose only job is to look at it and click approve. And here's the kicker. Garcia himself said that what he just described is, quote, basically sci-fi from the perspective of 2 years ago. The point is, this isn't some theoretical thing on a future roadmap. This is happening inside their company right now. It hints at a massive technological lead they believe they have. So you've got the solid finances, the super fast operations, and this crazy sci-fi tech working behind the scenes. So what's the point? Where is all of this leading? Well, it all ties together into one single, massive long-term goal that analysts, of course, had to ask about. The company put a number on their ultimate ambition, selling 3 million cars a year. Now, to put that in perspective, a number that big would make Carvana one of the undisputed heavyweights of the entire auto industry. And when asked about a timeline, Garcia broke down the math. He said to hit that 3 million target in just 5 years, they would need to grow by about 40% every single year. Even on a 10-year timeline, they'd still need to grow at a blistering 20% a year. It's a massive, high-stakes target. So what's going to stop them? Competition? The economy? According to Garcia, no. When asked about the biggest risk, he was surprisingly candid. He said the number one constraint is their own ability to execute. It's about managing the sheer complexity of what they're trying to build.
He says their real competition isn't another website. It's the 98.5% of the market, still controlled by traditional dealerships.
So the story that comes out of this Q&A is pretty powerful. Carvana is making a huge bet that this unique combination of financial health, operational speed, and a futuristic AI backbone is the key to dominating the old-school auto industry. They've laid out the whole plan, which leaves us with just one big question. Will their sci-fi future arrive on schedule?